Welcome to a very special deep dive, tailored just for you, right here on the Native Ear channel.
Hello, everyone. We're so glad you dedicated your time to join us for this really focused session.
Our goal today is, well, it's very clear and specific. We are determined to give you excellent practical results with minimal wasted effort.
Mm,
We're diving deep into a really compelling story about ambition, negotiation, and resilience, the story of Leo. And we're going to be extracting the essential vocabulary and, the highly practical sentences that you can start using immediately.
exactly. And this is more than just listening to a story. Our mission is uh, very technical and targeted. We're going to analyze not just what the vocabulary means, but precisely how these phrases are structured and used by native speakers.
Right.
We'll be focusing intently on accurate pronunciation so you can sound more natural, more confident, and, well, more professional when you speak.
Absolutely. And to guide us through this journey, I'm joined by my expert partner, an experienced language instructor known for his incredibly clear teaching style and his focus on content that is truly applicable to your real life. I am ready to unpack these phrases word by word.
I am prepared to begin. We're going to break down some concepts that might seem complex into simple, repeatable patterns that you, our listeners, can apply instantly.
Fantastic. So let's lay it out. What specific practical language results should you expect to achieve by the end of this deep dive? Think of this as getting an immediate upgrade to your language toolbox.
That's a great way to put it. By the time we finish our analysis, you will have a real mastery of the language structures from Leo's story.
Okay, so first up, you will learn useful phrases for talking about ambition and struggle.
Things like big dreams and the state of being, struggling financially. We'll even cover the idiom make ends meet.
Second, we'll master the crucial language you need for asking for help in negotiation. This is so important.
It really is. This includes business terms like paying up front and requesting trust with phrases like, can you trust me? These are vital structures.
Third, you will internalize and use these powerful expressions related to persistence and overcoming challenges.
Yes, the language of resilience. Things like worked tirelessly, feeling heartbroken but not defeated, and really understanding the nuances of a phrase like to give up.
And finally,
And finally, we will sharpen your ability to use specific high-impact verbs and adverbs that describe actions accurately. This is what makes your English sound much more dynamic and precise.
that sounds like a great roadmap. Before we jump into the story's context, though, a quick but really critical call to action. Please remember to like this deep dive, subscribe to the Native Ear channel, and share it with your family and friends.
Your interaction truly makes a tangible difference. It helps us create more of this focused content designed for the best results.
Okay, so let's set the scene. The source of our deep dive is the story of Leo. He's a young man, only 20 years old, living in a small, quiet town.
And he has big dreams. He wants to become a successful entrepreneur.
Right, but his journey illustrates this fundamental principle that, well, nothing is free. It all requires effort, persistence, and knowledge. This emotional context is what gives the vocabulary its practical strength.
Let's jump right in.
Let's do it immediately into our first section, the language of ambition and necessity. We begin by looking at the language used to describe Leo's starting point, which is, well, it's pretty challenging.
Yes, this section lays the essential linguistic foundation. It's about describing financial hardship and life goals in clear, unambiguous English. We're really defining the parameters of his difficult life here.
Let's analyze our first situation. I'll read the full sentence slowly, focusing on clarity. Leo's family was struggling financially. His mother, Claire, cleaned houses to make ends meet.
Okay, so this sentence gives us three essential linguistic nuggets. Let's start with the core verb phrase. Struggling financially. The verb to struggle, that's S-T-R-U-G-L-E, means to have difficulty or to fight hard to deal with a severe challenge. In the story, the past continuous form was struggling is used.
Okay, and why is that continuous form important here? Was struggling versus just struggled? What's the difference?
Well, that is an excellent point about nuance. When you use the past continuous as struggling, you're emphasizing that this difficulty was an ongoing, continuous situation for the family. It wasn't just a single event.
Ah, I see.
If you said, they struggled last month, that kind of implies a temporary problem. But what struggling tells us it was a sustained, draining period.
So it paints a much more vivid picture of their daily life.
Exactly. Now let's look at the adverb that qualifies how they were struggling. Financially.
Financially.
Pronunciation is key here. Financially. Listen carefully. Financially. It's an adverb, so it describes the manner of the action, specifically relating to money.
Right, adverbs ending in "-ly give that crucial detail.
They do. If Leo's family was struggling emotionally, the meaning would be entirely different. Financially specifies the source of the difficulty.
So how can a learner use this word to sound more precise?
Well, you have several options. The most common is right after the verb, just like in our story. The business is operating poorly financially. You can also use it to modify an adjective. We are financially secure now.
Or at the start of a sentence.
Yes, to open a formal statement. Financially, we cannot afford to take that risk. Using this word instead of just saying with money really elevates the formality of your speech.
And that brings us to the final piece, that indispensable idiom, make ends meet.
This is a classic. To make ends meet means to earn just enough money to cover your basic, fundamental costs of living. No more, no less.
So you can imagine the two ends, income and expenses, just barely touching.
Precisely. It implies you're working hard just to survive, with nothing left over.
Could you give us a couple of practical examples?
Certainly. If a friend says their rent went up, you could ask, how are you managing to make ends meet now? Or you could describe a past job. The salary was so low, I barely managed to make ends meet.
That's extremely clear. Let's move to situation 2. This is about Leo's internal longing and his frustration. I'll read the full thought slowly. Leo whispered to himself, I want to give my family a better life, but how do I start when we barely have enough to survive?
Okay, the critical word here is the adverb barely. It's key for expressing a severe limitation. Barely, B-A-R-E-L-Y, means just, or almost not.
It feels much stronger than just saying, we don't have enough.
It does.
Yeah.
Barely emphasizes how close they are to having nothing. They're right on the edge. This adverb usually comes right before the main verb. For example, the room was so dark I could barely see my hand.
Or, I barely had time for breakfast. It adds a sense of urgency or drama.
It really does. And the second part of that phrase, to survive.
To survive?
The verb to survive means to continue to live, especially in very difficult circumstances. The infinitive form here, to survive, states the explicit purpose of their very limited resources.
So it's not about comfort or growth, it's just about continuing.
That's it. It emphasizes the battle. For everyday conversation, survive is the most common and effective word. When Leo says they barely have enough to survive, he's articulating his desperation.
Okay, our final point in this section is situation 3, the father's wisdom. This is a really important moment. I'll read the dialogue. Mark sighed and said, Leo, dreams are not free. If you want something, you have to fight for it. Start with what you have, even if it is small.
Let's start with the verb describing the father's action. Sighed. To sigh, S-I-G-H-E-D, is to let out a long, audible breath. It's a powerful nonverbal cue that indicates an emotional state.
Right, like tiredness or sadness or even relief.
Exactly. Here, Mark is maybe a little bit resigned to their situation, but he still provides wisdom, and we should mention the pronunciation.
Oh, yes. The GH is silent. It sounds like sighed. Sighed. Sighed.
Correct. You use this verb a lot in storytelling to set the emotional tone. The teacher sighed dramatically before handing back the tests.
I think we've all seen that one. Now, let's get to the key motivational phrase. Fight for it.
This is a very active, very dedicated phrasal verb. To fight for it means to work extremely hard to get something you desire, often against significant opposition.
So it's a metaphor for struggle and effort.
It is. Mark is telling Leo that success requires a proactive struggle. You have to fight for your dream. A learner could say something like, learning English is difficult, but I am going to fight for fluency.
I like that. It conveys real commitment. And finally, that simple but powerful command, start with what you have.
This is just a masterclass in clear, direct, and encouraging advice. It's a simple command, starting with the verb start.
And the advice is so practical, stop waiting for the perfect conditions.
Exactly. Use what you have right now as your starting block. It's a very versatile structure. If a friend wants to start exercising but has no equipment, you can say, just start with what you have, go for a walk.
The language of just getting started. That wraps up our first section on the language of ambition and necessity. Okay, that foundational vocabulary really sets the stage for action. Now we move to section 2, the language of negotiation and trust.
Yes, and this section analyzes the high-stakes dialogue when Leo takes his first big risk approaching the baker, Mr. Anderson. This is essential for anyone who needs to make bold requests in English.
Let's look at situation 4, the bold proposal. I'll read Leo's full dialogue slowly. Leo said, Mr. Anderson, I want to sell your bread in my town, but I do not have money to buy it up front. Can you trust me for 1 week?
Okay, Leo immediately uses a crucial business phrase. Upfront. This phrasal adverb means paid in advance or immediately.
So he's saying he can't follow the normal rules of business. He's asking for credit.
Precisely. When you pay for something upfront, you eliminate any future debt for that purchase.
And how often do we hear this phrase outside of, buying and selling goods?
Oh, constantly. It's all about the timeline of payment. If you hire a contractor, they might ask for a deposit upfront. To secure the wedding venue, we had to pay 20% of the cost upfront.
Got it. And then comes that critical request. Can you trust me?
This is such a direct structure for requesting a chance based on faith. The use of the modal verb can you makes the request polite, but it's still very assertive. He's appealing directly to Mr. Anderson's willingness to take a risk.
So what if he had said, could you trust me? Would that feel different?
Yes, it would, subtly. Could you is a bit more tentative, often used for very difficult or unlikely requests. Can you is more direct. It asks about the immediate ability or willingness. In this negotiation, the assertiveness of can you really highlights Leo's determination.
That's a great distinction. Now, to Mr. Anderson's response, situation 5, I'll read it slowly. Mr. Anderson raised an eyebrow, and why should I trust you, young man? He asked.
First, let's note the body language. Raise an eyebrow. This is a common nonverbal signal that instantly communicates surprise, skepticism, or doubt.
It's a very efficient way to say, I'm not so sure about that.
Exactly. It communicates, I am skeptical. You need to provide more evidence. Now, let's focus on the question itself. Why should I trust you? The use of the modal verb should here is intensely important.
It's not just a simple question, is it?
No, not at all. By using should, Mr. Anderson is expressing strong doubt and demanding a very good reason, a justification for why he should take this risk. He's challenging Leo's credibility.
So it's different from asking, why will you pay me back?
Very different. Why will you pay me back? Asks for a plan. Why should I trust you? Challenges the entire premise. It puts the burden of proof squarely on Leo.
Which brings us to situation 6, Leo's reply. I'll read it slowly. Leo replied firmly, because I am determined and I will work hard to prove myself.
And he responds with that powerful adjective, determined. Determined. To be determined means you have made a firm, unshakable decision and you are resolved not to change it.
So how is being determined different from being, say, motivated?
That's a critical distinction. Motivation is the desire to do something. It can change, it can fluctuate. Determination is the fixed commitment and willpower to achieve a goal no matter what. Motivation starts the action. Determination finishes it.
That's a fantastic way to put it, and he backs this up with the promise, to prove myself.
Yes, to prove myself is an essential phrase. It means to demonstrate your ability or your worth to others through your actions and results. It's the language of someone who knows that talk is cheap.
And this leads us to the final part of this negotiation, situation 7, where Mr. Anderson establishes the conditions. I'll read it slowly. Mr. Anderson said, all right, I will give you bread for 1 week. If you fail to pay me back, do not bother coming here again.
Mr. Anderson establishes the terms with a classic conditional phrase. If you fail to pay me back. The key verb here is to fail, meaning to not succeed. It's a very clear structure. If this negative thing happens, then this severe consequence follows.
That clarity is so important in a negotiation. There's no room for error.
It's the language of risk management. And the consequence is delivered with a very strong warning phrase. Do not bother.
Do not bother.
This is an emphatic rejection. It means do not make the effort, do not waste your time. It's a way of saying your attempt will be unwelcome or pointless.
It sounds very final.
It is. Mr. Anderson uses it to make it absolutely clear that his trust, if it's broken, cannot be regained. It's a powerful piece of conversational English.
Okay, section 3. This is all about the continuous, unrelenting effort Leo had to put in. This is where we see how success is actually built day after day.
Exactly. This vocabulary is what separates aspiration from achievement. It focuses on the crucial adverbs and nouns that describe the quality of one's effort.
Let's start with situation 8, keeping commitments and work ethic. I'll read the passage slowly. Leo worked tirelessly. He woke up at 4 a.m., walked to the bakery, carried bread to his town, and sold it with passion. After 2 months, he had saved enough money to buy a small cart, making it easier to transport more bread.
The key adverb here defining Leo's action is tirelessly. Tirelessly. Adverbs ending in equality are so important because they modify verbs, they tell us how the action is done. Tirelessly means without ever getting tired.
So he didn't just work hard, he worked without stopping, without becoming weary.
Precisely. If you are describing someone's exceptional dedication, this is the perfect word. A scientist might work tirelessly on a cure.
He also sold the bread with passion.
Yes, passion is a strong noun, meaning intense enthusiasm or belief. The phrase with passion describes the engaging, enthusiastic way he do his work. He wasn't just going through the motions.
That tells us his effort wasn't robotic. It was driven by belief.
Exactly. And because of this work, he gets a cart, making it easier to transport the bread. To transport is the simple professional verb for moving goods from one place to another.
It sounds more formal than just saying move.
It is. In a business context, you'd always use transport. Now, moving to situation 9, which is Leo's big realization. I'll read it slowly. This was the moment where Leo realized nothing is free. Not success, not knowledge, not growth. If I want to succeed, I must take risks and learn.
He identifies 3 powerful abstract nouns he needs to achieve.
That's right. Success, knowledge, and growth. Let's quickly define them. Success is the accomplishment of a goal. Knowledge is the understanding or skills you gain. And growth is the process of developing or improving.
And he connects these ideas to a required action using a very strong modal verb. I must take risks.
Yes, the modal verb must. It expresses a strong, non-negotiable obligation. It's much more commanding than should, which is more like a recommendation. Must comes from within.
So I must pass this exam? It shows absolute resolve.
Exactly. He's identified the mandatory requirement for his success. This leads him to his next step in situation 10, asking for instruction. He says, Mr. Anderson, can you teach me how to bake?
Such a simple, direct request.
It's the perfect structure. Can you teach me how to? It's polite, effective, and universally useful. Learners should really memorize this phrase.
Can you teach me how to use this software? It works for anything.
It does. But Mr. Anderson's rejection reveals a core business concern, he says. That is bad for my business.
A conflict of interest.
Precisely. He understands that teaching Leo his secrets will create a direct competitor, which is a bad financial outcome for him. It's a concise and logical refusal.
Which brings us to our final point in this section, situation 11, enduring mistakes and self-doubt. I'll read the thought slowly. Leo sat down feeling defeated. He said to himself, maybe I'm not good enough for this. Maybe I should give up.
Let's analyze the emotional state here. Defeated. The adjective defeated means beaten or overcome by a challenge. It's a powerful word implying a sense of hopelessness.
He didn't just feel sad, he felt like he'd lost a battle.
That's the key difference. And this leads him to consider the phrasal verb, I should give up.
To give up, to stop trying.
Right. And the use of the modal should here shows his hesitation. He's contemplating it, but it's not a firm decision.
So if he had said, I will give up, that would be different.
Very different. That would signal immediate action. The word should here shows his internal questioning, his vulnerability. It's a perfect illustration of the emotional toll of persistence.
So Leo overcame that moment of doubt. But success, as it often does, attracts competition. Section 4 looks at the language used to describe market reaction and the adaptation required to survive.
Yes, and this vocabulary is crucial for discussing business strategy and personal resilience. Let's look at situation 12, describing the competition. I'll read it. A new bakery opened in the town run by a young man named Eric. Eric had a big fancy shop with colorful signs and decorations. People were curious and started buying from him instead.
The key descriptive word here for Eric's shop is fancy.
Yes, F-A-N-C-Y. Fancy is an adjective that means elaborate, expensive, or highly decorated. It suggests something that prioritizes appearance.
So Eric focused on the surface, which contrasts with Leo's focus on the product itself.
Exactly. And the townspeople's reaction to this new attraction, they were curious.
Eager to know or learn something new.
Right. The visual appeal of the fancy shop triggered this universal human reaction. Newness creates curiosity, and this investment in visuals capitalized on that.
Okay, situation 13 describes the setback for Leo and his response. I'll read it slowly. Leo noticed his sales dropping. He felt scared. What if he lost everything he worked so hard for? But instead of panicking, Leo decided to improve.
Okay, 2 essential business terms. First, sales dropping. Sales means the total value of goods sold. The verb to drop means to fall or decrease, a very standard phrase for describing a negative economic trend.
And Leo's initial emotion was fear, but he avoided panicking.
Yes, and that distinction is important. To panic means to feel sudden, uncontrollable fear that leads to irrational action. It's the uncontrolled response to being scared.
So scared is the internal feeling, but panicking is the potentially destructive external action.
Correct. Leo felt the fear, which is natural, but he controlled the urge to panic. And this control leads directly to the next crucial phrase. Decided to improve.
Simple, powerful, and definitive.
It shows a crucial strategic mindset. Competition isn't defeat, it's free feedback. He makes a clear choice using the structure decided to plus a verb.
So a learner could say, I received some feedback and I have decided to improve my pronunciation.
Perfect. It shows proactivity, not defensiveness. This leads to situation 14, seeking feedback. He asks his customers, what do you like about Eric's Bakery? What can I do better?
These two questions are just fantastic communication tools.
They really are. The first one, what do you like about, is a great way to gather market intelligence respectfully. The second one, what can I do better, explicitly invites constructive criticism.
It shows real maturity and a commitment to getting better.
It does. He's acting like a strategic businessman now. Finally, situation 15, which is about trust. An elderly woman tells him, I have seen many young men give up when times get hard, but you did not. That is why we trust you. Her words filled Leo with pride.
We see that phrasal verb, give up again.
Yes, to stop trying. His success came because he chose not to give up, and his reward was that his community's trust filled him with pride.
Pride, that feeling of deep pleasure from your own achievements.
Right. The structure filled with pride is an evocative way to express the intensity of that positive emotion. It confirms his hard work earned him respect and trust, which mattered more than the novelty of a fancy shop.
Okay, our final section. This is where Leo's journey comes full circle. He faces a major crisis that tests his character far more than the competition did.
And this vocabulary is all about managing high-stress emergencies and articulating resilience, the ability to bounce back.
Let's dive into situation 16, the disaster. I'll read the description of the fire slowly. A small fire had started near the oven. He quickly grabbed water and managed to stop the flames, but much of his equipment was damaged.
We have two critical action verbs here. First, the intensity of his movement is captured by rushed inside. To rush means to move with great urgency or haste.
It really conveys the necessity of his reaction. I rushed to the hospital.
Exactly. The second and perhaps most important phrase is managed to stop.
Okay, why is managed to tally hate powerful here? Why not just say he stopped the flames?
That is a wonderful question about nuance. The structure managed to plus a verb explicitly means that you succeeded in doing something despite significant difficulty. Using iteri, managed to highlights the challenge involved.
So it wasn't easy.
Not at all. If it was a tiny, easy fire, he just stopped it. Because he managed to stop it, we know it was difficult and dangerous. If you finally finish a huge project, you'd say, I managed to finish the report. You're highlighting the struggle.
That is so useful. Okay, situation 17, expressing resilience. Leo says, this is just a challenge. I have faced struggles before, and I will face this too. I won't give up. But first, the narration says he felt heartbroken, but not defeated.
Yes, look at that contrast. Heartbroken means profoundly distressed. He's admitting his pain, but the use of the connector but cancels the paralysis. He felt the pain, but he did not let that pain lead to submission.
That structure is so vital for expressing resilience.
It is. He follows this by saying, I will face this too. To face a challenge means to confront it directly and willingly. He's using the simple future tense, will face, to show a strong, immediate commitment.
And he emphasizes this with the strongest possible statement, I won't give up.
Yes, using the contraction of will, not W-O-N-T. It expresses powerful, absolute determination. It's the language of unwavering commitment.
This leads to situation 18, community support. I'll read it. Many of them started helping him. Some donated ingredients, others gave small amounts of money, and a few offered their time to help him clean and repair the bakery.
We see two important verbs of generosity. First, donated. To donate means to give money or goods voluntarily for a good cause. Second, they offered their time.
To offer your time, that's a great phrase.
It is. It means you are providing your labor and effort without demanding compensation. The community is responding to Leo's character.
And finally, situation 19, the final speech. The mayor tells him, Leo, you are a true inspiration. Leo replies, I want to thank each one of you. You have taught me that nothing in life is free. Not success, not respect, not love. Everything must be earned with hard work, patience, and persistence.
The mayor calls him an inspiration. That's someone or something that motivates you to do better. And then Leo summarizes the ultimate rewards that must be earned.
Respect, love, patience, and persistence.
Exactly. Respect is high regard. Love is deep affection. And the two qualities required to earn them. Patience, the capacity to endure difficulty calmly.
And persistence.
Persistence, the firm continuance in a course of action despite difficulty. If you continue studying English every single day, even when you feel defeated, you are demonstrating persistence.
That really brings everything together perfectly. Hashtag OTRO. That was an extensive and really powerful breakdown. The lesson here is so unified, isn't it? Success is built word by word and step by step through persistent action.
That is precisely the takeaway. We focus today on action verbs: struggling, being determined, working tirelessly, and the language of recovery: deciding to improve and managing to stop a crisis.
And we learned that the great rewards, success, respect, love, they aren't gifts. They are the earned results of patience and persistence.
Using these phrases in your own English practice will make your communication sound stronger and more proactive. It allows you to articulate your resolve, just like Leo did.
Okay, so let's leave you with a final thought to mull over. We saw that Eric's fancy shop almost succeeded by being pretty, but Leo ultimately succeeded because he was trustworthy and persistent.
A vital distinction between surface marketing and deep integrity.
So we have a challenge for you, the listener. Based on the language we practiced today, what specific action can you take this week to prove that you are trustworthy? Maybe it's paying a small debt up front, or maybe it's just keeping a promise and fulfilling it with passion.
This is all about applying the language of Leo's hard-won success to your own journey, whether that's in business, school, or in your mastery of the English language.
Remember that core principle: nothing is free, but everything is possible if you put in the tireless work.
We really hope these phrases empower you to confront your own challenges and reach your own big dreams.
Thank you so much for participating in this detailed deep dive. If you found this lesson useful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the Native Ear channel for more lessons tailored to give you maximum results. We look forward to seeing you on the next deep dive.